Hello everyone, this is Hakaym and welcome back to some more World of Warships, and today we are taking a look at the Friedrich der Große, the Tier 9 German battleships. And one little side note before I get going and talking about the stats and the ship when you first get her. I am currently coming down with a cold. It's the same coughing that I get almost every single year. So if I do pause for a moment, it's probably because I am coughing. So I do apologize for this. There's not much I can do. I will try to keep it at a bare minimum. Anyways, onto the ship. We have a fantastic ship. Very similar to the Bismark in a lot of ways as far as secondaries. But the main difference is going to be at the health and the guns. But we'll get into that. So starting off, survivability. She is the second as far as the stock. Ismo has a little bit more, has about 4,000 more points of health when you have a stock Ismo. Hit points is 72,500, and of course the Friedrich der Große has the turtleback armor, so that's always something normal to see whenever you see a German battleship. But very difficult to citadel, and that's what makes the German battleships so fantastic, is that they're good brawlers. All right, so moving on to the artillery, you have 4 turrets, 2 guns each, and it's definitely an upgrade from the Bismarck because you go from 380 millimeters to 406. Now the only downside is the Ismo and at least the Iowa have much bigger shells. The Ismo, I believe, has 410 millimeter shells. But of course, the Ismo has that very weird gun setup where you can actually sit more bow in. Now, the Bismarck does have the potential of getting 420 millimeters, which is 10 millimeters bigger than the Ismo, which is going to definitely increase your damage output. But the main beautiful thing about the German battleships is the secondaries, and you have 8 dual 105 and 6 dual 150 millimeters. So damage output, you're looking around 1700 with an 8.5% chance of fire and a 1300 damage with a 9.5% chance of fire. Of course, 10.6 kilometers all through the Bismarck. Through the Kurfürst, you'll have around 10.6 kilometer range secondaries, but still very fun and very fantastic to have. AA defense is all right. You have 8 quad 20 millimeters with a range of 2.4 kilometers with an average damage of 56. Then you have 8 dual 37 millimeters with a range of 4.2 kilometers with average damage of 40. And then of course your secondaries will also work as a defense with a 5.4 kilometer range and average damage of 146. But once you get the whole upgrade, you'll get a little bit more a defense. But now maneuverability, she's not as quick as she will be. She has a 28.7 knot speed, which I believe is a little bit quicker than the Ismo. And her turning circle radius is pretty large, 940 meters. She is very difficult to turn, but almost all the Tier 9 battleships are very similar to this. Rudder shift time is a lazy 19.6 seconds. And then concealment, of course, mine is going to be different from almost anyone else that is currently working on their German battleship. I went for concealment expert, so my concealment is 13 kilometers by sea and 12.4 kilometers by air. So without that, you will probably be detected around 15 or 16 kilometers, so a 3-kilometer additional range. Now, as far as consumables, almost everything has stayed the same. Obviously, buffing the secondaries, but the major difference I did is I went for main battery modification 3. Now, I know this is probably going to be heresy, and I am taking away from the power of the secondaries, but hear me out. So main battery modification 3 reduces the load time by 12% and reduces the traverse speed by 13%. Secondary battery modification reduces the reload time of your secondaries by 20%. Now, if we take a look at the secondaries, they take around 2.9 seconds to reload. So that is, I'm trying to think. That will reduce it down to about 2.5 seconds, 2.4, something like that. And then for your larger caliber guns, it will reduce it down around 5.2 seconds. So it'll reduce around 1 second. Now, for the main guns will reload in after the main battery modification. Will reload at 24.6 seconds, traverse the 180 degrees at 32.8 seconds, and I probably should also mention that they will do a max damage of 12,700 with a fire range of 18.5. So my thinking is once you get to the 420 millimeters, normally this takes around 32 seconds to reload, but with that main battery modification, it will bring it down to 28.2 seconds. Which, if we compared it to the Iowa, go ahead and drag up the Iowa, and we'll just check that. The main reload time is 30 seconds, and this is 406 millimeter shells. So you have around 2 seconds of reload time faster than an Iowa, but you also have bigger shells. You have 420 millimeters once you get up there, and this will increase your damage to 13,500, as well as penetrating thicker armor than the 406. So that is my thinking as far as why I went for the main battery modification 3 instead of the secondary battery modification 3. So that's my thinking. I'm hoping it will work out because the Kurfürst is very similar once you actually go up to the Kurfürst. You get the 420 millimeters, and that takes about 32 seconds. So once again, I'll bring it down to 28 seconds. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and jump into a replay. I will see you guys there. All right, everyone, welcome back to a replay with Friedrich der Große, and it has taken me a little while to actually get this replay. I did have to try to find, or better yet, actually have a very decent game that really does portray the power of the Friedrich der Große, because the Friedrich der Große is very similar to the Bismark, but her main issue is her dispersion. Her dispersion, very similar to how the Gneisenau is sometimes. Sometimes you get those amazing dispersions, but most times the dispersion is actually quite terrible. So we are currently playing on Shatter. We had a Friedrich der Große, North Carolina, Amagi, Colorado, Prince Eugen, two Atagos, Chapayev, Miyoko, Fletcher, Mahan, and Blishkovika. On the enemy team, there is a Iowa, Bismark, Amagi, Scharnhorst, Hipper, Atago, two Atagos actually, Pensacola, Belfast, Fletcher, a Z23, and a Akatsuki. So as we're getting going, I will have to warn you that the dreaded cough is back. The same cough that I get every single year, usually around this time, is back, and it's starting to creep in on me, and I can feel it right now. So I'm going to try to keep my coughing down to a bare minimum, so do forgive me if I have to stop talking so I can cough. So we are playing on Shatter. It's an interesting map, to say the very least. C is very interesting because the island's dead center of the actual capture point, and most times whenever you're on the east hand side of Shatter, you move into towards C, and it's usually people hiding behind this island. Now I'm moving directly to C. Really haven't altered my course. I do have a North Carolina. I do have a Prince Eugen, a Fletcher, and I believe there's also another cruiser and a Miyoko with us. So I do have at least backup. Now the enemy team has moved into B as well as A. And well, the beautiful thing about the Bismarck is she can get the 420 millimeter shells, but that cost well over 86,000. Sorry about that. There, Taga pops up. Take a kind of blind chop. He does disappear. At the exact same time, the enemy Fletcher does pop around the corner. And like I was saying, we do get a citadel. That's actually really cool. And like I was saying, the Friedrich der Große and the Kurfürst, for that matter, do get 420 millimeter shells. And that Belfast just got instantly wiped out from the friendly North Carolina. Now, I didn't notice this, but we have a Collard and a Togo moving in from the east side, or west side, so that's probably what happened. So, what was I trying to say? Friedrich der Große, it's actually a really fun ship, but it's a lot bigger than the Bismarck, and it's kind of bulky. So the beautiful thing obviously about the German battleship is that they have hydroacoustics, and it allows you to push into these smoke screens when you normally are a little bit leery about doing this if you're in a regular battleship. But here you can see I'm actually pushing quite heavily around sea, and I am spotting the Fletcher. It is a detection of almost 6 kilometers. And we're able to spot this Fletcher, and this Fletcher's actually being forced to flee because he has no idea where we're at. We just picked up the Togo, probably from the friendly ships behind us. And you see how our friendly ships are actually acting. They're actually following me around this corner while I'm pushing in. Togo comes into view. And lousy hit. Only got over 4 of her penetrations for about 12,700. Now, we've pushed into the smoke. I don't want to push too far because, as you can see, there is a lot of torpedoes incoming. There's torpedoes from the Otago, the Fletcher, the Otsutsuki. But right now, I want this Otsutsuki dead. So I'm going to go ahead and open fire on him. See if we can get rid of him. And the North Carolina, once again, gets the kill. He does a really fantastic job. I will admit that. He did a fantastic job in this battle. Now, the Fletcher is definitely within range, and the Iowa is the one that just fired on us. He's all the way south. You can see him right where our detection zone is. He's no help to this team. Just keep an eye on him, say at the very least. So our hydroacoustic does run out, but the Fletcher decides to come around. He is spotted, and our secondaries are just going off. Now, granted, right here with this Fletcher. This Fletcher runs aground, and it does take a little while for my secondaries to actually hit him, but we finally get the kill. Now, granted, a lot of people will be saying that I should have, if I had the increased secondaries as far as aiming, I probably would have got that kill a lot faster. Yes, I agree. I'm not saying that the 60% increase to accuracy would not have been beneficial at that moment, but I still kind of hold my ground with the ability to disappear as well as hit targets on both sides. I've had battles. I think I'll show a battle after this of my secondaries shooting off on both sides, but that's the way I think you can build your Bismarck. Granted, having the 60% increase to your accuracy is very beneficial, and here you can see I'm actually trying to get the Otago, but he does turn away. So the Fletcher is being super nice. He's actually dropping smoke for me. I don't care about this Iowa. This Iowa is useless to his team. He's not helping. He is trying to fire upon us, but with this Fletcher smoke, I'm able to disappear, and I can actually turn in. I actually want to push into B, because B is going to be very valuable. Now, our team is doing a fantastic. We are head on ship. We're behind on caps, but here in just a little bit, the Z-23 detonates the Amagi and torpedoes the Mahan, getting devastating strike and double strike. So now the teams are a little bit closer. We are still ahead at least by one ship. And the Iowa is just running all the way out towards B. Now I do fire salvo kind of as a parting gift. But like I said, my main focus right now is going to be B. Now we did actually get 2 bounces off his hull and 1 over penetration. And he gives us a 5,000 salvo. Great. Just absolutely great. Now, a cyclone is in force at this moment, and this means the Friedrich der Große can actually get to work. Because the detection on all ships is down to 8 kilometers. Or better yet, the viewing range on the ships are down to 8 kilometers. So this is going to be very beneficial for all of us, and it's going to be beneficial for the Friedrich der Große because we actually have hydroacoustics, we have a spotter craft, and we have our beautiful, powerful secondaries. I hear in the comments right now, you should have got the manual fire control. This is just how I think I like my Friedrich der Große. It is beneficial to actually disappear. But we can see that there's the Bismarck, there's the Atago running away, the Amagis running away south. I'm trying to think what other battleship. There's also Scharnhorst. That was the other battleship. Now, the secondaries on the... Or not the secondary, the AA guns on the Friedrich der Große, when you have a stock hull, it's not the greatest in the world, but it's decent. Now, my Friedrich der Große at the moment, yes, there are torpedoes incoming. Of course, this is probably from maybe the Atago. It's hard to tell. I'd probably say it's from the Atago. I don't know on the Z-23s how many he has. Now, I don't want to push all the way into B. That's going to be suicide. So I'm going to try to turn away, and oh boy. There's the Iowa. Decided to push in, and he's going to get a huge chunk of damage against us. Because even though we do not get citadels, we do get normal penetration, and oh my word. Just as I'm even turning away even more so, the Bismarck's right there. Great. But here's the beautiful thing about the Friedrich der Große. You have a lot of health. You have 84,300. And this is granted, yes, a battle where I've had the stock, not the stock hull, but the B hull. So I do have more health. Now, when you first have her, she still has very high amount of health. She has the highest when you have it in the stock. But after you get the hull upgrade, oh, it's beautiful. Now, we fire a salvo at the Bismarck. We get over 15,000, almost 20,000 points of health off that Bismarck. And I can't wait to get to the 420. Now, granted, the 420s do require longer time to reload, but oh, it's still a lot more damage. Now, I'm into a position that's actually going to be a little bit difficult. I've moved away because I've taken so much damage, and I want to at least get some health back. But there is an island just to the west of me that's going to prevent me from moving, and our team is kind of actually stuck in the middle of B at the moment. We do have a Colorado that's currently ramming a North Carolina. The enemy Scharnhorst does take out the friendly Atago. Oh my word. Hate this golf. I knew this golf was going to come back. Now, we're even on, or no. I'm trying to count actually. We are ahead on ships. We're two ships ahead. The Atago does take out the Scharnhorst, but the Atago has a Amagi, and I believe also a enemy Bismarck also around, plus the Z-23. Now the Iowa is just, he's not pushing in. He's not able to open fire on him, But there is a Amagi, and this is a perfect time to show a good brawling. Alright, so I unfortunately do have to get my guns on the other side. The Amagi does take out the Atago and let the fun begin. Now, the German battleships are fantastic for brawling. This is their specialty, but dispersion sometimes kind of kicks your butt. Fire a salvo. We get Confederate, but no Citadel, even on a broadside Amagi. They do have a Atago. Our secondaries are firing away at both the Atago and the Amagi. Amagi opens fire, devastating strike against the Myoko. So that's one less ship we have. And look at these torpedoes. This is something you don't want to see all too often. We do take one on the bow, but this Atago has got to die. And got a fire, got a Citadel on the Atago. Very nice. Can we get a Citadel on this Amagi? I zoom out so I can actually get my guns to bear. Fire salvo and dispersion shifted them up. Or poor aim on my matter. Now, here is a point where everyone makes a mistake. You don't want to keep turning. You don't want to keep showing your broadside. If this ever occurs, sail away. Just let your back guns reload and you can finish this enemy ship off. Now, the Amagi does run aground against a sinking ship, and one salvo should do it. There we go. One dead Amagi. Now, all that's left on the enemy team is the Z-23, and I think it's good time to go for the HE. Now, I love getting the actual increased rate of fire for the Friedrich der Große because it allows me to get my guns reloaded more quickly. And the Z-23 is in secondary range. His engines are out. He has no repair, and he's just about to go down any moment now. So, goodbye, Z-23. So our team earned a victory, and we earned 369,772 silver, 6,169 XP, and 309 free XP. We earned Confederate and Dreadnought. We did 144,086 damage, 43 shell hits, 4 incapacitation, 4 kills, 7 fires, 2 citadels, 2 defended base caps, 1 assisted base cap, and 167 secondary hits. And so we were top of the team with a base XP of 2006. We did the most amount of damage to the Amagi with 45,985, the Ataga around 15,000, and the Fletcher and the Z-23 around 6,000 and 4,000 respectively. Now our secondaries did around 13,548, and we did around 18,033 on fire damage, but most came down to the main battery shells. So after everything was said and done, we earned 144,757 silver. We spent 225,000 silver on repairs and as well as fixing up the modules. So as far as my thoughts on the Friedrich der Große, it's fun. It's a great brawler. That's really what it's known for. And if you ever get the opportunity to brawl with a German battleship, especially the Friedrich der Große, Bismark, and the Kurfürst, they do such a fantastic job brawling. But this is actually going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. You guys have a great and fantastic day. Zai Jin.